Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the best of the best, Mr. Jason Pritchard. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Zuber. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've told people repeatedly that they need to follow you on Instagram page. Your Instagram page, Jason Pritchard, is legit. The truth, what's going on, people, what's going. It's just the place to be. You put out a story, an Instagram story, I think is what they're called, that hit home with me, that I've actually shared and had 3 or 4 of my other real estate millionaires react to. But I'm gonna ask you what prompted this.
Yeah.
And we're gonna dig in. So I'm just gonna read it here. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now is the time where you should be paying very close attention to how people in your circle are thinking, talking, and acting. If they are negative, complaining, or playing the role of a victim because of what's happening in the market, I would be very careful with how much time you are spending around them right now. Instead, you need to get around people who are optimistic, driven, and are focused on finding creative ways to set themselves up to take advantage of upcoming opportunities. It's going to get really uncomfortable for a lot of people. Surround yourself with others that are helping you become the best version of yourself. Wow. Tell me about that.
Don't forget the PS. I threw a little PS down in there at the bottom, and I said, if you're having a hard time getting a hold of me right now, you might be one of those people in the first category. So yeah. Yeah, dude, it was funny, man. I think what prompted me to have that conversation was I was just at the gym and I was working out, and I ran into a lender buddy of mine that has a pretty successful mortgage business here in Central California. His name's Sam Okenye. And we just ran into each other at the gym, and lenders right now, I feel like, are on the brunt of a lot of the pain that we're feeling, right? Because, you know, when you're in the real estate business, you know, the realtor kind of has the warm and fuzzy part of it, right? They're showing the houses, it's the emotional side, everybody, blah, blah, blah. But when you're the lender, you're really the one that's just more cut and dry. You're talking numbers, and it's, you know, now especially, it's definitely more painful conversations. And I was just asking Sam how things were going. And it was interesting. I hear a lot of negative noise from different people that I follow in the lending space. But Sam and I had a conversation where he was talking about, not, you know, you can't control rates. I can't control that the rates are 7 right now. You know what I mean? It's not ideal, but it is what it is. It's not my control. And I'm going to figure out how to get creative about how we're going to move forward. Right. And that was really the impetus of that post. I walked away from that conversation feeling charged up, because then it sparked some ideas in me. And him and I just were kind of riffing there for like 10 or 15 minutes about, what are you doing? What am I doing? And it gave me this boost, just emotional, kind of going into that day, right? And I could think back to, and I can even, you know, expect what other people are doing when they have the exact opposite type of conversation like that, where they go meet somebody and they're like, oh my God, rates are this, and I can't believe this, and this many deals have fallen through this week. Think about how you're going to feel emotionally walking away from that kind of conversation versus the feeling that I had when I walked away with my conversation with Sam. And then think about the compounding effect of, if you're having negative interactions, and that's the majority of the type of interactions that you're having with your social circle, what does that do to your mindset? Versus if the majority of your conversations are like the ones that I'm having that day with Sam, I'm not letting the noise bother me, right? And that was why I posted that. And that's why I think the power of your network and who you're being around is very, very important, especially right now, guys.
I'm glad you brought this up, because for me, I have these 7 rules, right? One rental at a time rules that I live by, that kind of helped Olivia and I be successful, and I try to help others see. Rule number 7, frankly, is ignored in the market that we just left, right? The market that we just left, it was easy to make money. People were printing money. Everybody was smiling. Rule number 7 is there because of the market we're entering. And I'm just going to read it. You've probably heard it a dozen times, but for the audience, audit your personal network. Are they helping or hurting you? There's going to be a lot of heavy conversations. You can, and for me, right, being in this YouTube world, there are people that do nothing except try to scare people.
Yeah.
You don't need any help with that. For what's coming, again, I've told people, I think 2023 could be the worst economic year of my adult life. And I've seen a lot of stuff. As you will see in video number 3, that's a macro opinion, and a micro opinion, I'm ecstatic for what's coming. But, and that will be discussed in video number 3. But folks, I have to tell you, if you're watching, and YouTube uses artificial intelligence. If you watch crash videos, it will feed you crash videos.
Yeah.
You need to block that stuff. This is not the time. There's already going to be enough heavy things. Please focus on people doing the work, getting around people that want to be creative. Fear lives here. Opportunity lives here. And if fear is here and you haven't done the work, you don't have the discipline, the muscle, as Jason says, you ain't getting anywhere. You're going to sit down, and in 5 years, you're going to come to Jason and I's meetups and you go, I wish I did it like you guys. We're no different. We see the same crap. Jason's got 31 projects going on, right? He's moving through it. He just removes fear and moves forward. Your network, or what you feed your mind, most of you are doing it wrong. Jason's superpower is his mindset. We need to watch and listen. What do you think of all that?
I agree 100%. And I think one of the things that you can do right now that will move the needle the most is audit all of the content that you're actually looking at on your social media. So if you sit down for an hour, right, and just kind of scroll through and scan what are all the messages that you're getting, and just kind of take an internal inventory. Is this propelling me closer to where I want to go? Is it promoting optimism? Is it promoting creative ways to think? Then keep that, right? But if it's negative noise and it's woe is me and it's victimhood mentality and it's all these things, complaining, you should probably unfollow or block that stuff, right? Yeah. And then the algorithm will start feeding you what you're asking for. So just kind of organically over time, you'll start getting more of the things that you want. And then you need to do the same thing with the people that you're interacting with in real life, guys. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And you have to be self-aware enough to say, after you have an interaction with somebody, right? I think the easiest way is, we all have these kind of like this internal GPS or this internal compass that we have. And after you walk away from a business lunch or a phone call or a text message exchange or whatever, and say, man, do I feel good? I mean, that's exactly how I felt after that conversation that I had with Sam. Like, I felt really good. And I was like, damn, this is good. You know what I mean? Like, I loved his ideas. I loved the way that he was pushing me to think creatively, right? And we were just kind of bouncing these types of things. That's the type of feeling that you guys should be having. If you don't have those type of people in real life, you have to be intentional about adding them, guys. You know, we always talk about, you know, the power of your network. And not knowing people is not an excuse. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't know anybody. I didn't know anybody when I first got into this business, zero. You know what I mean? And so I think it's easy to look at Jason now and say, well, he does all these meetups and there's 200 people that come every single time and blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't like that. I cold messaged you, Zuber. Like, I mean, when I first saw you on there, right? I put myself out there, and I can always remember those first videos where you're just doing it in your living room. And I was like, dude, this guy's got like 150, 200 rentals in Fresno. I was like, I want to be doing the same thing as Zuber is doing. Let me figure out and just reach out to this guy and see if there's a way that I can add value to him. And look where our relationship has gone since then, dude. You know what I mean? And so I think you just can't be afraid to put yourself out there, find those people, guys. And you would be amazed how many people that are you perceive to be quote unquote successful that are willing to help you. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And I think society kind of tricks us to believe like, oh, they're too busy, or they're just going to big time me, or they're blah, blah, blah. Who's this guy think that he is? And you've just got to get past that and put it out there. What's it going to hurt to ask? I mean, if they say no or they don't respond, you're in the same exact position you were before you started. So what's it going to hurt to ask, guys?
Yeah, I remember that first. I remember it. Again, you did it the right way, right? You reached out to me. You may have known my name. You may have known people that I knew, and you could have gone that way. You reached out and basically said, hey, I have a meetup, you know, at the office. Why don't you come and tell us your story? And again, that was value to me, right? Yeah. And the relationship has grown, and hopefully we will be taking a couples trip sometime in the summer to somewhere. So yeah,
not hopefully, dude. Not hopefully, dude. Yeah, that's right.
It'll happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere cool. And again, I look forward to doing that every year, and this relationship going bigger and bigger and bigger. So I appreciate you. And again, my superpower is doing the work. Mm-hmm. Your superpower is mindset and just thinking big. I'm trying to learn and trying to follow. But again, folks, the last thing, your post, rule number 7. Rule number 7 was not very important, and most of you ignored it the last 2 years. I would argue that rule number 7 is the most important one for the next 2 years, because if you don't have the right people, you're not feeding yourself the right stuff or around the right people, you're going nowhere, or worse, going backwards. So, Jason, where can people find you? Because you put out stories, posts that people have to watch. Where is it?
Instagram and Facebook, guys, if you just put my first and last name in there, my profile will pop right up. I try to be as honest and authentic about the stuff that I'm sharing, and just that, that was a thought that just came up in my head. And so that would be an example, if that's something that resonates to you, finding more content like that, right? Reaching out to people like me, if that's something that, if that's a message that was impactful for you, and figuring out a way to just get more of that kind of going in your life. And you'll be amazed, guys. Momentum is a very real thing, not just in your business, but in your personal life. With anything that we talk about, once you build a little bit of a momentum, that thing will start to snowball, and it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger as long as you stay consistent. So if I can be helpful for you guys, please reach out. I'd love to be a resource.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.